Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's really fantastic to see so many of you here tonight at what is a really exciting time for us as a school. So it's a particular welcome to Amanda Nicholson, Deputy Lieutenant of the County. Thank you for coming. And of course, parents, governors, Old Latins, business representatives, friends of the school, and of course, our students. When I was appointed to the headship about 3 years ago, I realised that the school had some wonderful attributes. Not least, the students that we have at our disposal are second to none, in my opinion. Also, very lucky to have wonderful staff, talented, creative teachers. However, what I also realised is that the resources at our disposal, the learning environment, if you like, was sadly lacking. We have some good resources, however, they're in desperate need of development. So around a year ago, we set up a campaign board to rectify this situation. Delighted that Right Honourable John Bercow agreed to be our lead patron of that board, and very lucky to have him here tonight, so welcome to you, John. And he and the board are going to talk to you in a short while about the campaign and our plans for the future. As you probably picked up by now, the focus for the campaign is science and technology. And with this in mind, I'm really delighted that we can welcome tonight Emma Roffey. And Emma is based with Cisco, who have done a lot of work with the Olympics and has responsibility for brand, advertising, digital marketing, events across Europe, Middle East, Africa, and Russia. In fact, I think we're pretty lucky that she's here at all tonight. So thank you, Emma, for being here. She's been involved with Cisco, the official network infrastructure supporter of London 2012, and is also involved in Cisco's partnership with the Bloodhound supersonic car project, which aims to set a 1,000-mile-per-hour land speed record. And just talking to Emma, saying that that's at a really exciting stage of its development. So without further ado, Emma, I'd like to welcome you for your words. Thank you.
Thank you. Hands up anyone who has heard of Cisco. Oh, well done. And I wonder if it's going to be like a dinner party where, sometimes someone finds out, well, obviously I'm a female, and that I work full time, and that I have children. And then it goes, well, where do you work? And it's Cisco. Oh, I've heard of Cisco. What is it they do again? As marketing, that's quite, as my teenage daughter says, an epic fail, Mum, if people don't know. However, to cut a long story short, in 1984, Cisco was set up by a husband and wife team in San Francisco working at Stanford University. They worked in different offices and they wanted to be able to communicate via email together. And eventually, the multi-protocol router was born, and Cisco was born, and that's as technical as I'm going to get this evening. You'll be pleased to know. It's as technical as I can get as well. But we employ today 70,000 employees, turnover over $40 billion. But our mission is to change the way we live, work, play, and most importantly tonight, learn. STEM, any science, technology, engineering, and maths, and the gap, any report that is produced at all, not only just in this country, but particularly in this country, there's a huge gap and huge demand for STEM skills. And if you can imagine, when I look at the female population going into technology and STEMs, then the gap, the divide is even bigger. So we're really passionate about trying to plug that gap and support and encourage girls, boys to come into the STEM industry. So how we're doing that is in a variety of ways. We have over 630 networking academies in 167 countries. And those academies are in prisons, in schools, in universities, and in colleges. And the aim is to train people in these ITC skills and give them a qualification that they can go out into industry. It's been hugely successful. And with our partnership with the Olympics, then 3 academies have been set up now into the East End of London. We've also have a cohort, as we call it in Cisco, of apprentices. And this is the first time we've actually offered apprentices into Cisco. They've been doing their training all year across loads of different departments, and then now they're coming into us because they are guaranteed a placement at the end of their apprenticeship. So that's been really successful as well. Just briefly on the Olympics. And I don't know, actually, I didn't ask beforehand and I forgot to bring the books, but we've been working with STEMnet with something called Out of the Blocks. Have any of you as parents seen these booklets at all? No? They've been made available to all state-funded secondary schools, and if not, we can, if you're interested, we must get you some there. And what they are, they're trying to bring London 2012, or did bring London 2012 to life with fantastic and really engaging books, looking at particularly at maths and science. And there's all activities, whether it's around the swimming pool or the velodrome or any of those areas, and how you can apply and get children really engaged and excited using science and maths without them, potentially even realizing they're doing so. But probably the most exciting, I'm going to move on slightly, probably the most exciting thing we're involved in is Bloodhound. And again, this is equally as important for girls and boys, but I have to be honest, when the men found out about it in Cisco, that we were doing it, they were so excited. I got calls from all around the world going, "Are we seriously involved in Bloodhound?" And I was like, yes. And within a short space of time, we've got 50 ambassadors signed up. So, and I found one around this area as well. So again, if you're interested after this, we can get an ambassador here from Cisco into the school to go into more depth about the project and your enrollment. And we do something, we fund something called Cisco Bloodhound TV, which is a video that lasts 2 or 3 minutes every other week, telling their story. And when we go into schools, or Richard and the team go into schools, often there's sort of questions. And one of the questions, the most common question, is there an ejector seat in the car? And you can imagine, poor Andy Green, the current fighter pilot, yeah, and they're asked, does his brains blow up, would it, if he had to eject? And it's like, right, I think we need to make a video about why there isn't an ejector seat in a supersonic car. But it's getting the children engaged. And what Richard touched on in the video, unlike the space industry and unlike Formula One, which you could argue are cutting edge, it's very secretive. And Richard's passion is not to have that secretive. He wants it open, collaborative, and all of that data, all of the risks, all of the learning, the problems, because there will be hundreds of problems with this, very readily available for people to share and experience that journey. And if you compare, this is in the 70s with the Apollo space mission, if you look at those slides, so those studying physics degrees, and you can see an iconic project such as that, which has got that interest, means more people are studying those type of exams. So we're hoping, and we'll have a bar chart like this to see, with Bloodhound and the following of Bloodhound, and it will take over the next couple of years to do. I think they're hoping to do the race in 2014. Race, well, it's not really a race, not racing anyone, but racing science and technology. And finally, one quote, this is why, again, just to remind you why, and I'm sure there's other companies out there as well, we're involved to inspire that next generation. Because as Richard Noble quotes, the right talent, the right technology can result in extraordinary outcome. And I believe that's what's the path you're on today as well. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Emma. And actually, so many words there were ringing bells with me. And your final words about extraordinary outcome is exactly what we're about here. And coincidentally, and you won't know this, the keynote of what we really are about with the plans we have is to develop in our school extraordinary students. We know we have wonderful raw talent coming into the school, and that's our mission, and that inspiration word is absolutely what we're about. So I'd like to hand over now for you to hear a little bit more from Colin Jump, who is the chair of the campaign board, and his colleagues. So thank you, Colin.
Thank you, David. Students at the Royal Latin School are bright and capable, but not only do we want them to enable them to get amazing exam results, we want them to be able to get places at great universities and to get the best jobs. The university and job market is more competitive than ever. Greater demand for university places and graduate unemployment is at a 15-year high. Decision makers are looking for so much more than just academic excellence. we have to ensure our students stand head and shoulders above the rest. We know this is a great school, but what it doesn't have are great facilities to inspire students to fulfill their potential. The time has come for change. In a few minutes, members of the campaign board will present the school's vision for the future. But first, let's hear from the school and students in a brief video.
The Royal Latin School in Buckingham is one of the oldest schools in England. It has a unique heritage and a reputation for excellence. The foresight of previous generations has made it possible for the school to evolve and survive for almost 600 years.
We know we have really wonderful students at this school. Those students are extraordinary students. They have the skills that businesses, universities are asking for. Our students come up with fantastic results year on year, but I know that those results would be even better were our facilities to be improved. Particularly in science and technology, our facilities let our students down. The proposed Discovery Centre is a state-of-the-art building that will provide the facilities that my teachers really need to be able to further the education of our students.
Hi, I'm Ross. I want to go to university and study sciences.
My name is Riaz Alice and I want to become a pathologist. I'm Ben, and when I'm older I'd like to be a marketing executive.
Hello, my name's Athena and I'm going to be a lawyer.
So you can see how amazing our students really are and the high expectations we have of them. Our challenge now is to implement a bold vision for the future. The school has plans to create a learning environment that enables us to realise the full potential of our students. It will focus on their needs, enable extraordinary achievement and prepare them to build and succeed in tomorrow's world. In order to achieve this, the school will improve facilities, starting by building a Discovery Centre in 2015. The Discovery Centre will provide a 21st century STEM education. High-spec themed laboratories specialising in areas such as enterprise, performance, food, engineering and innovation. In short, it will be an intelligent building capable of embracing the future.
The Discovery Centre will transform the way we are taught. We will have the freedom to learn by research, investigation and discovery. We will learn how to apply our leadership and problem-solving skills to our future workplace by working directly with businesses and professionals. We will connect with other schools and universities around the world to share ideas, learn together and make us globally aware. We will open our facilities to the community and continue our popular science fair outreach programme with the local primary and special schools. There will be equal emphasis on our practical skills, creativity and bright ideas.
We've established a campaign board consisting of parents and former students who are committed to leading our fundraising efforts. We're consulting with key opinion leaders and decision makers in order to drive our plans forward. This vision will only be realised with everyone's involvement. Without direct support from business, community, individuals, simply won't happen.
There's a great need for the school to have the right environment for the future. The new Discovery Centre would provide the students with a pathway into business for the future and would also provide the opportunity for other institutions to partner and collaborate not only with the students but importantly with the school.
I had my science education here at the Royal Latin School, which was a fantastic time for me. I went from not knowing what I wanted to do to being passionate about science. It really ignited the feeling that science could change the world and you could do so many things and the world was your oyster. And from there I went to university and studied physics and electronics and then started my own company. And the background I got here was amazing, but they've got to invest in the future. Time moves on, technology moves on. So that's why I put my money where my mouth is and I'm investing in the Discovery Centre. It's people like me, it's entrepreneurs that need to put the investment in the beginning. We can't just take, we've got to give something back.
Raising the funds to build the Discovery Centre is a huge challenge and the Royal Latin School needs your help. Please take a minute today to decide how you can help. We look forward to building the future together.
In 2023, the Royal Latin will celebrate its 600th anniversary. As an academy, we have a new independence and freedom to make changes to the school that will be the benefit to our students. By then, the school hopes to make improvements to facilities across the site, including science and technology, expressive arts, sixth form and sports facilities. The list is endless. Improving facility provides an opportunity to create a fresh new approach, one which truly enables all students to realise their potential and allows each and every one to be the extraordinary student we know they are.
The 600 campaign that we're launching today is all about the fundraising that we need to carry out in order to build a science facility by 2015 and to improve other facilities for other parts of the curriculum, including sports, expressive arts and the sixth form in the years following. Now 2015 might seem like a long way away, but actually it's only just over 2 years down the road, and that means that the vast majority of the students that are in the school today are going to benefit from these new facilities. Why science and technology? Science is a school speciality in more ways than one. It's proving so popular amongst the students that there are more students here studying science than in many other schools, and 25% of the students at the school go on to study for a science degree. Now that's quite a considerable percentage. Now Emma this evening has spoken passionately about the importance of science, technology and engineering to the future. James Dyson and other industry leaders who have the ear of government are talking passionately about what they see as an all-important need for ensuring the future innovativeness and competitivity of British industry. And that's all about making sure that the supply of students is coming through that have those skills. In terms of facilities, the science department at RLS has changed very, very little over some 50 years. There's even probably a few old Latins that are here in the audience today that might be a little too familiar with the facilities that we still have. And by the way, the headmaster would like to talk to somebody about the etchings on one of the rear tables if you have a moment afterwards. So the first priority is to address this issue about the science facilities. Now, you may challenge us to say, could we not just spend a little less money and put a lick of paint on the facilities that we have? But that wouldn't fulfill the vision that we have, and it wouldn't create the step change that we need to deliver now. In 2015, we see a discovery centre built on the school site, a purpose-built, environmentally optimised and intelligent building. This is much more than just a routine run-of-the-mill science block. This is something that is going to benefit not only the students and the staff, it's also going to be to the benefit of the community and to employers, both on a local basis and on a global basis. We're going to invite the community to use the building outside of the teaching hours. We're going to deliver community lectures, and we're going to continue to build on the successful science fair programs that are carried out for the primary and secondary schools in the region. Employers will be able to use the facilities as training facilities. They'll be able to use lecture space as a unique venue for their own seminars and for their staff training. They will also be able to directly engage the students of the school in the projects that are relevant to their business, and we've seen an excellent example of that type of project from Emma this evening. To echo what some of my colleagues have said, we owe it to this generation of students to give them the best chance that they have of succeeding in tomorrow's world, and we believe that this Discovery Centre will equip them to do so. Thank you.
Our Discovery Centre will have 12 labs, each of which will focus on a particular thing. So, for example, we have the Enterprise Lab, where we'll have business partners working with students on commercially viable projects, and we'll be reinforcing the importance of foreign language skills in the workplace. Another example, our Performance Lab, which will explain how science and technology will push the boundaries of human endeavour. And there will be an Innovation Lab, which will be focused on innovation, discovery, research and development. Now, we are delighted that Julian Thomas, a former pupil of the school and founder of Race Logic, has pledged to sponsor the Innovation Lab. Race Logic is a very successful local company. It designs and manufactures electronic systems which analyse the performance of motor vehicles, and it works very closely with the motor racing industry. Julian views the partnership as an opportunity for the students at the Royal Latin to benefit from the experience and facilities that his company has developed. In turn, Race Logic will benefit from the imagination and energy of ambitious young minds. So what will make the Discovery Centre different? Well, the Discovery Centre will be a purpose-built environment designed to inspire, engage and challenge young minds. Students will be able to focus on applying theory to the real world and learn by doing. They will learn in a 21st century environment more akin to that which they will encounter at university and in the workplace. And they'll be encouraged to think globally and to problem solve with others around the world. And they will learn in an integrated way with employers and professionals which will equip them with the skills, experience and behaviours they need to succeed in the 21st century workplace. So the Discovery Centre, with your help, really will make a difference, transforming the way our students are taught. The influence of the Discovery Centre will be felt beyond Buckingham. By sharing our experiences with other schools in the UK and beyond, we'll ensure that the centre has an impact far and wide.
The school's plans for the future are innovative and exciting and will benefit our children, our community and our business. We are already well advanced in our progress towards delivering these plans. We have formed a campaign board to help the school secure the funding for the Discovery Centre. We've commissioned an architect to create concept designs, which you have seen already today and are on display in the room next door. We've developed a brand identity and are well into the process of building a database of organisations and individuals who we can call upon for sponsorship. We have been very busy, and now, as we launch this campaign, we need to redouble our efforts. We will now focus on raising awareness of the campaign via the media, but also by holding briefing events such as this, as well as making direct approaches to potential sponsors. Some of you will have been aware that today the school attempted to break the world's biggest chemistry lesson with 837 children taking part. We hope we've been successful. We need to get confirmation. But we've already been contacted by the regional media, and we will be merciless in using this to plug our campaign. Clearly, though, raising $5 million will be very tough in these harsh economic times, and that brings us nicely to today's event. Don't worry, we're not passing the collecting tin round yet, but I have locked the doors to ensure no one can escape. What we do need to do is to continue the process of identifying potential sponsors to add to our existing sponsorship list. That's where you all come in. We need sponsors for each of the labs. We want to build sponsor partnerships with the universities and employers, and we need to identify all possible funding sources from anywhere in both the private and public sector. You may know people who might be interested in supporting this project, perhaps your employer, someone in your professional contacts, maybe even friends or family. Each meeting we have had so far has generated at least one new idea and drives us a little bit closer to our goal. The conversations we've had have already generated considerable support from individuals, and a number of companies are exploring how they can help us. We have already secured 10% of the target, but we have a long way still to go. So, however you decide you can help, there are two things you can do for us today. Before you leave, we would like to give you 5 of our campaign business cards. They look like this, just so you can't say you haven't seen one. and they're outside as you leave, and you'll be collared by a student to give you them. Please take them with you, give them or send them to people you think might be in a position to help. That way we will cast our net wide and give ourselves the best chance of succeeding. Secondly, please visit the campaign website and sign up for email updates. That way we can easily keep you informed of progress, and as an incentive to all who register, you'll be entered into a draw to win an iPad, courtesy of Solartech. Finally, this school has withstood 600 years of change and progress, and it is only here today because of the foresight of previous generations. Now it is our turn to safeguard it for their future. I would now like to invite our lead patron, the Right Honourable John Bercow, to say a few words. Thank you.
Chris, Dave, Martin, Colin, David, Emma, Joe Ballantyne, who ought, I think, to be acknowledged for the enormous forethought and application that she's already committed to this project. It's a pleasure for me to be amongst your number tonight and to underline the importance of and requirement for support for this not merely imaginative but essential initiative. I think that in whatever capacity, ladies and gentlemen, you work, you'll recognize the truth of the adage that you can't stand still for very long without declining. If we simply rest content with what we've got, however much merit it might historically have contained, we will almost certainly, in a competitive environment, relapse and be outscored by people who are continually thinking of different and better ways of doing things. When David Hudson approached me and said, would you pop in and have a chat about a project I have in mind, of course I readily agreed, as naturally as your constituency member of Parliament I always would. He shared with me the vision of a dramatically enhanced set of facilities spanning several different disciplines, and I was immediately struck by the amount of thought that had gone into the idea. Had I considered it myself? No. I'm not a scientist, I'm not an engineer, I'm not in any sense a technological specialist, and I had always simply admired from a distance, and to some extent up front, close and personal from prize-giving ceremonies, the excellence and arguably the supremacy of this school. But David said to me, we really do need dramatically to improve the facilities. That was hearing from David. Then I went to see the central science lab, if I can so describe it. And I don't say this in any way pejoratively with reference to any member of staff or any governor or any representative of Buckinghamshire County Council as a local education authority. But if I had not been awake and conscious and at least moderately self-aware, I could easily have thought that I was in my own science lab in 1974, and that seems to me to be the key. I'm not trying to rubbish the brand, and Emma would quickly excoriate me if I did. We should be proud of the school's brand, but we shouldn't be satisfied with the facilities that are in place to deliver on it. And we simply have to do better. It is a time for change, and it is a time for action. And as David hinted in his opening remarks, ladies and gentlemen, we have, of course, considered the obvious retort that might come from a member of the audience or any representative of parents. Well, can't you make do and mend? Wouldn't a little incremental change here and there suffice? And the honest answer is that it simply won't. The facilities are far too limited. They're not remotely relevant to the technological challenges that are going to face us in the decade ahead. And when you think that we've got Milton Keynes businesses only 15 miles away, not only what they depend upon now, but what they're likely to require in the future, we frankly need something vastly better, vastly more fully developed, vastly more imaginative, and with a vastly greater number of potential applications for well-furnished and inquiring, hungry minds of the kind that the Royal Latin has long boasted. And if I may say so, in paying tribute to all of my colleagues for all that they've already done, which is vastly more than I have, and thanking you for coming here today, I hope you'll agree with me, ladies and gentlemen, that it was inspiring to hear the students speak with pride about their institution and ambition for their future. And I know it's always invidious to name names, and they were all extremely impressive. Some of them I'd heard before, but I turned to David and asked who was the principal narrator, if I may be forgiven for so describing him, and I'm told that it's a Year 10 pupil, Ewan, who might even be with us tonight. I hope he is, but if he is, he's going to be embarrassed to be praised in public. If he isn't, the congratulations can be passed on to him, because these students, some of whom are here tonight, are clearly thrilled to bits with the school. They're very proud to come here and to get their qualifications here, and what they want is to have a better facility, preferably for their remaining years in the school, and in the spirit of community, better facilities for those who follow them. It will not be delivered, I'm sorry to say, by government, and I'm not making in any sense a damning or partisan observation here, but I'm afraid the fiscal freeze has got a trickle-down effect everywhere in the country. And obviously, sitting on the campaign board, one of the first issues that arose was what might come from central government. I wasn't overly optimistic, but I undertook to try to establish, and I had an exchange of letters with the Secretary of State, Michael Gove, and I say this in no critical or hostile spirit. Michael's letter was full of warm words of encouragement, for which, of course, we are immensely grateful. But there was no money on the table whatsoever. In fact, if I may say so, Michael Gove does warm words of encouragement as well as, if not better than, anyone I've met in 25 years' involvement in public life. The stream of eloquence that flows from his lips if he's speaking and from his pen or computer if he is writing are truly a magnificent sight to behold and experience to witness. But we've got really to get the funds through our own efforts. So let's not balk or cower at the enormity of the challenge, but rather say, we've made a start. There are parents who lead very demanding lives, who've got taxing jobs, who've spared the time. We've had, I think, something like 4 or 5 meetings of the board and various sub-meetings over the last 6 months or so. So quite a lot of planning has already gone into this. And we have had this huge fillip in the form of the very sizable donation from Julian Thomas. Julian is proud of the fact that he went to this school. He knows that he owes much of his subsequent success to the great education that he enjoyed, and he really is, as he said, putting his money where his mouth is and trying to kickstart the process of necessary and urgent fundraising. If you here can contribute, please do. If you've got a skill or aptitude which you think will assist the campaign board and the school in securing support, if you have access to a list of potential sponsors, or you know of trusts with an educational focus that might oblige us, please share, not just, as I say, your funds, but your other resources and imagination with us. We are absolutely determined to get there, and preferably to make a very, very, very serious stab at it in the next 2 to 2.5 years. Thank you for your patience and fortitude in listening to the various contributions, and in particular putting up with me at the end. This is but the start. We have some way to go, but I want to tell you that I am mighty proud of the fact, and have been for 15 years as Member of Parliament for Buckingham, that the Royal Latin School is situated in my constituency. I trumpet it at every turn and will go on doing so. And I think it's time that the school as an institution, including quintessentially and above all the pupils, the governors, the teachers and the parents, had in place resources which are cutting edge and fitting for the 21st century and not relics of the 20th. Let's go at it with the enthusiasm and commitment that this exciting and innovative project undoubtedly warrants. Thank you very much indeed.
Well, I really can't add any more to that. It's really inspiring for me as head teacher of the school. So it really only remains for me to thank John, but very much thank Emma for giving her time tonight. And as a final note from me, I am hugely grateful for you for attending, but also for the campaign board who have worked tirelessly. And as John just said, they are a group of parents who are just giving their time. And I really can't expect that, but I'm hugely grateful for all of the campaign board members, 4 of which are sitting here. There are another 8 in the audience actually tonight. So do now join us, ask those questions that you no doubt have. We have plans. Our architect, Tom Lyons, is next door with plans and some video representations of what we're about. Do stay, do ask those questions, and it will be nice to meet you now. So thank you once again for coming tonight. Thank you.